operative system is the most important program of a computer. It is defined as the program that permits the user to take control of the computer. Booting a computer is the process by which the operating system is loaded in memory. There are different operative systems installed in the computers. Some of them are Windows, OS X, and Linux. The operative system can be classified in the following form. The first one is multi-user. This is when two or more users can execute programs at the same time. The multitask permits to execute two or more programs or applications at the same time. And the multiprocessing means of multiprocessing that have more than one processor which operates in the same memory but execute simultaneously processes. An interface is the presentation of the medium where the user introduces orders or commands to the operative system and this to the hardware. This is the communication means through which the user interacts with the software. There are two types of interface. The first one is the command line interface, and this one is like when the operative system provides a command line in which the user introduces instructions or commands formed by characters. The other type of interface is the graphical one. This is like easier to use because icons and figures are used. Examples of these operative systems are Windows, Mac, OS X, and Linux.
Graphical environment of operation. Windows is the operative system that dominates the market of computers, which in its operation has had different versions. Windows 7 is one of them, and the functionality of the Windows 7 can vary depending on the system configuration. Some of the functions of this operative system may require advanced or professional hardware. The requirements of the system. The minimum requirements of the system to use Windows 7 in computers are processor of 32 bits or 64 bits to 1 GHz or more, memory RAM of 1 GB or memory RAM of 2 GB, available space in hard disk of 16 GB or 20 GB, graphical device DirectX 9 with controller WDVM 1.0 or upper. Once Windows is loaded, there appears a window called Desktop, from which the user takes the control of the computer. The desktop, it is a working area and it occupies the entire screen. In the desktop you can find the mouse pointer, the icons, and the taskbar. The mouse pointer, it permits to select and execute applications. The icons are objects on the desktop. They represent programs and shortcuts to folders, files, and programs. And the taskbar, it is used to give access to many applications. Here are the descriptions of some icons. The recycle bin is used as an electronic garbage container. It stores temporarily the deleted files or folders to recover them in necessary case. The shortcuts are representative icons of an application. The files are a group of data or information identified with a name. And the folder is an icon that contains one or many files and or folders. Now, the Start menu or Start button, it is displayed when it shows a blank area where the user can organize and personalize the files according to his or her preferences. Start menu has the following basic parts: the left pane and the right pane. The left pane, it shows a list of the recently used programs by the user, and the right pane, it permits the access to folders, files, options of configuration, besides the computer shutdown options. The version of Windows 7 includes the characteristic of the list called jump list, which they are lists of recent applications as files, folders, or web pages. In Windows, there are different types and styles of buttons. For example, there are the checkbox, option button, command button, text box, drop-down button, expanded button, and split button. The checkbox, it permits to select many options in a simultaneous way. The option button, it permits to select only one of the showed options. The command button, it permits to execute immediately the option. The text box, it permits to introduce information through the keyword. The drop-down button it permits to select from a list that is displayed when the arrow is pushed. The expanded button it permits to show or hide part of the content of the window. And last, there is the split button that it permits to show the different variations of an option in a way that the user selects the one that he or she desires. The concept of library is a feature proper of Windows 7. They are defined as locations in which all kinds of documents, music, images, and other files are administrated. You can browse the files just as you would in the folder, or see them organized by properties like data, type, and author. The version of Windows 7 contains by default 4 libraries: documents, picture, music, and video. Besides, it permits the user to create his or her own libraries. AeroSnap and AeroPick are two little functions that permit to work more efficient with the windows in the operating system Windows 7. The AeroSnap is a function that is used to anchor a window to the left or to the right side of the screen. For it, the window that is being used is dragged to the left or to the right of the screen without maximizing. The window then will be anchored to that side of the screen. The AeroPick is a function that makes transparent all open windows in order to see the entire screen. For it, place the mouse pointer to the inferior right part of the screen and automatically the desktop will be displayed.
Basic tasks of Windows 7. Personalize the computer. What are the most used elements in Windows 7? These are the Start menu and the desktop. You can always personalize your computer by giving the working characteristics according to your preference. You can change the image of the user account, the one which is displayed in the upper part of the Start menu. You can modify the background desktop, also known as the wallpaper. You can change the sound of the system. You can modify the screensaver, which is an animation that the computer shows when it is inactive. You can modify the size or the alignment of the icons of the desktops. You can change the mouse pointers, and you can even change the Start menu. You can configure the way that the links, icons, and menus are shown. Edition options. This permits to cut, copy, paste, eliminate, and create folders. Recycle bin. You can always recover the ones that you eliminated by accident. In the job list, you can modify it to have a quicker way to access to your documents. Access and creation of libraries. Windows 7 has 4 libraries: documents, pictures, music, and video. This version of Windows 7 permits the user to create his own libraries.
Special task of Windows 7: Backup and Restore. The option Backup and Restore permits you to create backups of the personal files that you consider the most important. In the window Backup or Restore your files, it is shown the following options: create an image system, create a system repair disk, and backup settings. Action Center. The Action Center permits the user to see the alerts and perform the necessary actions so the operating system Windows 7 works without problems. It shows the user important messages about the security options and maintenance that the computer requires. Security in the computer equipment. Firewall. A firewall is a whole system of defense blocking or allowing the passage of information from internet and prevents the hacker or people have access to the computer equipment. Antivirus. Antivirus software prevents, detects, and performs pertinent actions to delete and/or remove malware, such as the virus. A virus is a program designed intentionally to interfere the good performance of the computer equipment, to spread to other equipment in a network and internet. One way to have always protected the computer equipment is the constant updating of the antivirus program. Microsoft Security Essentials is the software recommended by Windows for protection. To defragment the hard disk. The deformation of the hard disk helps the equipment to have access to all data in a quickly way. Defragmentation occurs as time goes by. when the user stores, deletes, or changes files or folders. Defragment means to reorder those files in that library to have access to them in an easy and quickly way. Windows Ready Boost. Ready Boost function is to help the equipment to improve the performance when memory starts running slowly. The low memory can cause the computer to operate slowly because Windows needs a place to store data and therefore resorts to the hard disk. To activate Windows Ready Boost, connect a USB memory to your computer. Immediately a window will appear. Click on Speed up my system. Windows Memory Diagnostic Tools. The Random Access Memory RAM could present problems and do not work in an optimal way. Generally, the operative system Windows detects these files and displays a window, but you can execute this tool before a fail occurs. You click on the Start menu, then in Control pane, then click on Memory and diagnose your computer's memory problems. 32 and 64 bits. A processor of 32 or 64 bits refers to the way that processor administers the information. The version of 64 bits of Windows administrates great amounts of random access in a more efficient way than a system which operates with 32 bits. Object Dock. The Object Dock is a software that simulates the graphical environment of the OS X operating system, which displays a bar similar to the Mac OS X. Movie Maker is a free program of Windows that permits you to create and share movies that you design. Elaborate a project. Each project can include images, video, music, sound, animation, and visual effects. To add the images or videos, select the button Add Videos and Photos. Open the folder where you have the images and click on it. Automovie themes. Of Automovie themes, show the themes of Automovie that are predetermined, contemporary, film, attenuate, panorama, and zoom, white and black, and sepia. Save the project as. To save the project, you have to click on the button Movie Maker and select Save the project as. You have to click on the folder when you will store it and assign a name. Remove elements. To delete an image or a video from the project with one on you are working, just select the image or video. Open the main menu and click on the button Remove. Animations. To insert transition effect to each frame that composes your project, open Animations menu, select a frame, and in the group transitions, select one that you want to each frame. Visual effects. You can also add visual effects to your project, such as blur, edge detection, cyan, etc. These are on the Visual Effects menu. Frame duration. Movie Maker assigns a duration time of each frame of 7 seconds. In case that you decide to modify the time, select the element, open the menu Edit, and in the bottom duration, type the time of duration of the element or background, or select it from the displayed list. Save narration. Other action that you can do in Movie Maker is to add a narration to your project. Open the main menu, select Save Narration. When click on it, the menu narration will contain the button to save, stop, and cancel the recording. Add music. To add music to your project, open the main menu and select the button Add Music. Emphasize narration, video, and music. If you decide to highlight the narration over the music or sound, open the main menu Project and click on the Emphasize Narration. Save Movie. In order that your project can be played by Windows Media Player or some other player, it must be saved as video file. Open the button of Movie Maker, select Save Movie and click on Recommended for this project.
Hardware. Hardware is defined as a joint of components of physical devices that intervene in a computer system. The computer is a basic and indispensable element. It comes from Latin computare, and it is defined as an electronic device capable to interpret input and output orders, besides to process and store information. Input devices. Input devices are the ones from which the information is introduced to the computer to be processed or transformed. Some examples are keyboard, barcode reader, scanner, mouse, webcam, microphone, touchscreen, etc. Output devices. They are the ones that show to the user the data previously transformed or processed. The most used are the printer, which shows information in written form, the monitor, which presents information in a visual form, the speakers, which present information in a sound form. Storage devices. They are the ones that permit to store or save information. These are classified in main and secondary memory. The main memory. This memory acts directly with the CPU in all the input and output operations, allowing to store and to recover instantly data and programs with which it's working. ROM. ROM is a programmed memory by the manufacturer, and it is a permanent memory. Once the data have been written in this memory, they cannot be changed, only they can be read. It contains instructions to boot and to check the computer for its good performance. The user does not have option to modify it. RAM. RAM is a memory that stores information that is being executed in that moment, so it can be processed quickly. The capacity of the RAM affects directly the performance of the programs and the amount of data that can be processed. The user has the option to modify it, acquiring additional modules generally in order to increment it. The secondary memory, also called secondary storage, it permits to save programs and data in a permanent way. The most used storage devices are the hard disk, the floppy disk, compact disk, digital video disk, memory USB, among others.
Software. It is a set of instructions or programs that are introduced in a computer in order to carry out a process. It is classified in system software and application software. The system software administrates and controls the operation of the hardware. For example, Windows, OS X, Unix, and Linux, etc. The application software permits to execute a specific task from the user. Example, Word, Excel, AutoCAD, Corel, etc.